just happened to have been posted at Fitzroy, and I saw those kids in the high-rise flats and thought, well, this isn't a very good existence. If you're not part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. So I thought I'd be part of the solution. Well, the idea of the camp came about as a result of my student placement in 1972 at All Saints Parish in Fitzroy. And I went there and I said, well, what am I going to do here? So I decided to run a Christmas camp for all the kids in the high-rise flats.
There was a phone call one day from Father Joe. He was still in the seminary, and he said, I'm after some help with a charity. My husband walked in after an hour or so, and I relayed the message to him. And he said immediately, I'll do it.
Father Joe was about 24 and Kevin was 23. We were just three young people with dreams. Those two did all the work on Doxa. Kevin would spend whole nights, and Father Joe, he was so good. He worked his little guts out. I mean, we have to do so much physical stuff around here because there was nothing like today where everything's set up for your comfort.
Back in the early 70s, there were no trees around the area then. It was a very stark place to live. So when I heard of this Joe Jacoby wanting to make a camp for kids in the bush, I thought, what a great idea, you know? What a marvellous idea, go for it, mate. And this is the result. He did, followed through on his dream.
Hi, I'm Anthony and I'm the son of the architect for Doxa, Kevin McManus. When we come to the people of Doxa, I'd like them to remember the original people who came to the site who had to really start from scratch. You'll see one of the photos of Joe Jacoby with my father and the builders that was taken pretty much before any development occurred. You know, just that really ground beginning was sort of no frills, and that provided the foundation for everything we have today, which just seems unbelievable, but that's how it started. And in fact, I can even go further to say that Father Joe Jacoby was a good school friend of my father in high school at St Bernard's in Essendon, and they discussed Doxa at the Lincoln Hotel. That was the very first discussion about Doxa and the way it would be created and founded. All from those underpinnings came a wonderful organisation through that.
The children that were in Melbourne in these high-rise flats that Joe was telling us about, sometimes 8 to 10 people in a room from Fitzroy and North Melbourne, they had a chance of being able to come and see a bit of the bush. And vice versa then later on. He used to take them to different places, football, aquarium, beaches and things like that. But it certainly has changed a lot of little kids' lives.
I remember the first groups of children that came because they were only disadvantaged school. They were disadvantaged, and rightly so. They wanted their music lessons to be banging on jam jars. And I remember the model for this. It was unbelievable. It was like a little Lego set of a village.
When I was growing up within Doxa, I was there from the period of 1979 till about 1989, 1990. And during that phase, there were many working bees. So the site was a work in progress to begin with. We had many blocks or sectors created, and my father, being the architect, he would often attend these working bees, instruct, advise on the way the designs are going. And we had so many people there, the whole Doxa community helping and going out there and giving their own advice. And my father would love that because he was a man who would take all forms of opinion and encapsulate that into his design.
My name's Belinda, and I started going to Doxa when I was about 7 years old, I think, so a very similar age to my two girls, Sammy and Monique. I remember my first experience going to Doxa being about 7 years of age, it being cold, having parkas on, they would have been back then, and absolutely lapping up being outside, and the whole novelty of sleeping in a cabin was just awesome.
My name is Belinda. My parents are one of the founding people who used to come to the weekends.
And my name is Romina, and Belinda's sister, and yeah, Mum and Dad are one of the founding members of Doxa. My first experience of Doxa, or my first memories, I guess, I was quite little, And I remember very often going to Doxa and just having just so much free space and running around and, you know, just having free reign of the kitchen. It was just, they're my earliest memories, and going down to the creek and midnight walks, and that's really what I can picture, and the awesome cabins that we used to sleep in.
The fact that we could literally roam free, or be free range, as it were. Then at night time, after dinner, after we'd all help pack up, we would have had a fire outside and toasting marshmallows. It was good.
My first experience of Doxa was being a child immersed in the bush environment and learning about bushcraft, nature, playing with my fellow friends and relatives at the camp. We saw the bush as a way of escapism to get out there and really immerse ourselves in everything it had to offer. And we felt quite secluded, and it was almost like a sanctuary. We really revelled in that.
Mum and Dad became involved in the real early days of Doxa, and we were introduced to Doxa by a friend of ours, Nellie. And to this day we're lifelong friends, and Nellie had been involved with Doxa for quite some time and suggested that Mum and Dad might like to get involved, and they did.
I think there's favourite memories that stand out is, I think, building the connections. I think that's been really important, and getting to know Father Joe more rather than just seeing Father Joe at church, sort of having greater connections with him, and Maureen, and just all the families, especially the girls and George and Helen.
Back then it was about working bees, so we would go down a couple of weekends a year. There'd be designated jobs that needed to be done. It was pretty much everybody rolling up their sleeve and helping out, be it tree planting, be it log placement, be it just getting things set up for the playground. Well before the days of OH&S, I dare say, but it was lots of fun. I suppose taught me from a very young age the sense, the meaning of community and doing things to help those less fortunate than we were. And there was always that sense for Doxa. We knew that, you know, we were there, we were helping out with the working bees, but the point of that was so that others could enjoy the camps throughout the week. So there was real camaraderie with the children. We all got along like a house on fire, and with the parents you could see that they really enjoyed it, as well as helping out, you know, where it was really needed. When we started going, we were virtually the same age as my girls now, so it's really quite special to be able to see the wonder in their eyes and the excitement, and playing in the gymnasiums.
I got this really good memory of when me and my friends and Monique were playing in the gym. We were playing on rolling board things, and we were playing with balls.
And I could skateboard on the rolling boards. And I could throw the basketball backwards and they landed in the ring.
My first memory was going mostly to the gymnasium and getting a lot of solo there. I really loved that bit, and also the games room because they had ping pong and pool. I wasn't really the best at pool, but ping pong I was getting better.
All the activities.
The giant swing.
Like all the activities that are on.
Yeah, the activities.
Yeah, because they're really fun.
The community at Doxa, for me, means a way to provide opportunities to other people, a way to network, but a way to also give back to what you've earned at Doxa and what you've been given, and to be able to give back to those like similar in our situations and provide a good path ahead.
It was just magic, because many of us wanted very much to make a change in this world, but by ourselves we couldn't. And that was the opportunity to contribute to make changes to the life of young children and families, because you don't know what those changes can bring in the future.
It means it's like a good community just to have fun with people my age and just learn about other people there. It's just a fun experience.
To help the next generation of children experience what it's like to live for a few days in the bush, and maybe that's enough to make them think that they're not invisible, they are important, and life is actually worth living.
How grateful I am to be at Doxa and to have a beautiful community, and to see the open life with kangaroos, wallabies, platypus and all those other things.
Father Joe and I were driving about 10 o'clock at night. We're just astounded by how many kangaroos there were. We kept it to about 40k per hour just to be respectful, but you know, we had to shake our heads and say, wow, we really are in that same place that we were all those years ago. Nothing's changed, and hopefully that's the way it remains. So
the only way to achieve anything is to start. I, as I said, grew up in Ascot Vale. I'd never done anything. I never knew anything about applying for government grants. I never knew anything about fundraising. But if anyone's got an idea, have the self-belief, start it, and people will come on board. So my big lesson from starting Doxa is just start and people will come on board, and to be prepared to do whatever needs to be done. If you've got to dig a hole, you dig it. If you've got to paint a wall, you paint it. If you've got to write a letter, you write it. That's what I've learned from it. I completed my 50 years, so I'm quite happy to hand it over to the next generation, and I hand it over being confident that they'll do a better job than me.